Evening.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Sir.
Thank you for joining tonight. Let's wait for a few more minutes. I see people still trickling in. So, sige lang. Let's wait for them. Maybe we'll start in 2 minutes. I will try to share the deck now. Share screen. Share this. Can you guys see the slide?
Yes, sir.
Yes po.
Yes, sir.
Great. Again, I see we have 13 now, 12 of you. Yeah, let's wait a few more minutes.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good evening. Yes,
Good evening pala.
technically it just became evening. And Merry Christmas, by the way. Start of the Burr months. Okay, we'll give it one more minute, then I'll start. This will be a short session now. It's mostly an intro of we'll just go through the syllabus and just introduce module one. That's it. So maybe an hour, hour and a half at most. Okay, I think I see half of you now, no, or more than half. Sige, we can start. No? So, good evening again. Thanks for joining us. So, this will be our weekly schedule. No, I don't know. There is only I can only see one holiday. No, that falls on a Wednesday. That's December 8th. Other than that, we'll have weekly sessions. 6 o'clock, no, on Wednesdays. I won't use up the whole 3 hours. It's just going to be an hour and a half, 2 hours at most. So don't worry. It's really hard to have a virtual session for 3 hours. All right. Can someone confirm that you can see the slides and you can hear me well?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right,
Yes,
great.
sir.
So yes, let's start with. I hope some of you have gone through this on Canvas. So I'll go through for the first part of tonight. I'll go through. I basically cover the syllabus, no? And module zero, which is also on Canvas. No? So some ground rules, some etiquette stuff. I'll introduce myself as well. I'll ask you guys to introduce yourselves also. Um, Overview of the course, just a high level overview. No? I'll also talk about what your grade will be composed of, no? Your graded assignments, the readings in class, some policies, and my consultation hours as well. All right, so ground rules. Um, all the sessions will be recorded. No? I set it. The good thing with Zoom is you can set it automatically, no? So that it records once anyone or once any student enters. No? So it's just being recorded for the benefit of those who are not able to join, no? If they want to refer to this. So please always mute yourself unless you're speaking. And please wait for me. No, you can raise your hand or you can type in the chat box if you want to call my attention. So ask permission first if you'd like to speak, because in some instances maybe a few of you would like to speak at the same time. So that's going to be unwieldy. So I prefer that your cameras are switched on, but of course it's not required, especially if you have low bandwidth or internet connectivity problems. Kasi uso na ngayon, for example, you have the entire household uh, doing internet intensive stuff, no? Like working, having meetings, Netflix as well, or gaming. No? So yun, yeah. So sometimes it's competing. So okay lang. But if you can, no, please. So I can, it's like a real class. I'm talking to people. So, again, please let me know also if I'm breaking up as well. So what about me? No, so I go by Jay. My real name is Emil Francis de Quiros. I don't know what happened, but my parents wanted to call me Jay or JJ when I was younger. I'm a blue-blooded person, so since prep, I'm an Atenean since prep. I graduated MECO in 2000, 21 years ago. I did my master's in Pittsburgh in Carnegie Mellon University, public policy and management a few years after. So I'm currently working at USAID, the United States Agency for International Development. That's part of the embassy that basically provides development support projects in the Philippines, for example. So we have projects from health projects, education projects, projects on economic development, governance, as well as the environment and energy. Before this, no, I've been working at USAID for the past 6 years. Before this, I worked for another donor, no, an international organization called the World Bank. Some of you may have heard of that. No. A lot of readings will be from the World Bank. It's an international lending institution. I also worked for the government when I started my career. It's called the National Anti-Poverty Commission. I hope that some of you may consider eventually working for the government. No? There's a dearth of talent and good, well skilled people in government. So hopefully sometime within your career, you can think of that as well. I also work for the non-government sector. There's this group working on social enterprises in Estebanabada, just close to Ateneo, called Peace and Equity Foundation. There's also this group now that's now working on disinformation, against disinformation, called FMA, Foundation for Media Alternatives. And then lastly, right after I graduated in 2000, I was a volunteer under the Jesuit Volunteers Program. So it's called JVP. Some of you may have heard of that. No? If not, that's also good. No? Consider that. No? You'll be assigned to different parts of the country doing different kinds of development work. So for me, I was assigned to Zamboanga. I went to Ateneo de Zamboanga University. And I taught economics there at the college level. So that was my first time teaching. You can so I hope no, you can search. No, you can, although right now it's hard no, to do field work. No? So I think right now the volunteers are doing virtual stuff, which is not the same, but still, no, maybe consider for next year or next few years. You can reach me at my email address, edekiros@ateneo.com. So later on, at any point, you can stop me and raise your hand if you. Right now, I want to go around. No, I think all of your management students. No, so whoever's here, maybe just introduce yourself. Maybe show yourself on camera at least for this portion. No? Just so that I can attach a name to the face. The good thing with this semester format is I can get to know, I can familiarize myself more with you guys no, rather than, last semester or last year, no, where it's a quarter format where it's really hard to get to know people. At least ngayon, I can get to really hopefully be more familiar with you guys. It's not rushed, no? Hindi rushed yung sessions. I'll start, no? I'll call on you based on who I see here. So si Abay Lenos, if that's not your nickname, just let me know your nickname. So si Abay Lenos. If you can unmute yourself, if you can.
Did you call me po, sir?
Si Abay earlier, but sige, Andrea, we can start with you.
Ay, okay po.
Andrea,
Name and nickname lang po.
yeah.
Okay, so my name is Andrea Cruz po, but you can call me Drea. And yeah, I'm from 2BS MGT.
Great. All right. So second year, sorry?
Yes po, second year.
Okay.
Third year, sorry.
Okay. Ano ka pa from the last year, no? Last school year. All right. Next is Abay Lenos. Or maybe he stepped out for a while. Sige, we'll call him or her back later. Alfonso Noel. Alfonso Noel.
Hello, sir.
Ayan. Sige, Alfonso.
I'm Afonso Rafael Noel, but you can call me Noel, sir, from 3BS Management.
Okay. Sige. Great. And then Amaya Lacson.
Hi, sir. My name's Amaya. You can call me Amaya. I'm also from 3BS Management.
Great. Okay. Yeah, you no need to let me know if you're with management. So I assume that everyone is a management student here. Benjamin Allen Santos.
Hi, I'm Ben Santos, and I'm from GPS Management. And you can call me Ben.
Okay, great. Thanks, Ben. Gabriel Swanko.
Hi, I'm Gabriel Swanko, but you can call me Gab from 3BS Management.
Great. Thanks, Gab. Next is Isabel Kui.
Hello, sir. Hello, everyone. I'm Isabel Koi, but you can call me Isabel, also from 3BS Management.
All right. Thanks. Isabel. Next is Gerard. That's your name. Gerard Manuel.
Hi, sir. I just go by my first name po, Gerald.
Gerard Manuel. Great. Thanks. Okay. Next is Joaquin Alcaraz.
Oh, hi, sir. Good evening. People usually call me Alka or Wax, and he's fine.
Sige. Thanks, Wax. And welcome to this class.
Thank you, sir.
I saw. Yes, we exchanged emails already. Sige.
Yes.
Jose Gabriel Bonton.
Yes, sir. Jose Gatbonton. You can just call me Jose or Host.
Okay, great. Thanks. Kenshi, you?
Hi, sir. I'm Kenshi, and you can call me Kenshi. I'm from 3BS Management also.
Great. Thanks, Kenshi. Next is Liana Alisa Bautista.
Hi, sir. I'm Liliana Bautista, but you can call me Lian.
Lian. Okay, thanks, Lian. Next is Lourdes Juliana Aguiluz.
Hi, sir. You can call me Julia. I'm also from 3BS Management.
Julia. Okay, great. Thank you, Julia. All right. And next is Luigi Sotelo.
Hello, sir. I'm Virgilio Sotelo, but my nickname is Luigi. I'm also from 3BS Management.
Okay. Thanks, Luigi. Mark Emerson Te.
Hello, sir. You can call me Mark.
All right. Thanks, Mark. And then Marco Escalona.
Hi, sir. You can also call me Marco.
Okay, Marco. Okay, great. Then Marian Frances Rigonan.
Hi po, sir. I'm Marian Rigonan. I don't have a nickname, so you can just call me Marian po.
All right, great. Thanks. Then we have another Marian with a double N-E.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, go ahead. Yes, yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead. Sorry.
Sorry. Okay, good evening, sir. I'm
Sige lang.
Marian. I'm from 3BS Management, and you can call me Sia.
Sorry, kasi sometimes when you unmute yourself, your name automatically goes up. So it's like I have to look for it. No worries. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Next is Napier Seth Deliego.
Good evening, sir. My name is Seth Deliego. You guys can call me Seth. I'm also from 3BS Management. Also, singit ko lang, if anybody is looking for a group or if any groups still available, hopefully we can, keep in touch or contact.
All right. Okay, thanks, Seth. But I'll also discuss the groupings later on. Kasi we'll tie it to your NSTP and Opman groups.
Sige po, sir. Thank you po, sir.
Sige. All right. Then next is Sophia Ann Panaligan.
Hi, sir. I'm Sophia Panaligan, but you can call me Sophia.
Thanks, Sophia. Yeah, just going back to that point about the groups. But of course, you're free to create your own study groups as well. Tommy Tanuatko.
Hi, sir. You can call me Tommy.
Thanks, Tommy. And last is ZJ Andaya. Last but not
Hello,
least.
everyone. I'm ZJ Andaya. You can call me ZJ.
Thanks, ZJ. I think I was trying to call Abay. That person's not here. That's okay. All right. Sige lang. Thanks, everyone. Did I fail to call anyone who's here? I think we're all good. Sige, thank you for doing the at the very least. Kasi it's weird. Usually it's really nice to see you guys in person. But who knows, maybe in the future. All right. Sige. Moving on. Let me just get my pointer. Wait lang, sorry. I need to get my pointer. Okay, there you go. So just a high level overview of the course. So there are 5 modules here. We start, we will do an intro later on with module 1. We won't finish module 1. We'll finish module 1 next week. So it's really all about setting the stage, revisiting the development challenges in the world, in the Philippines, what people are facing, what kinds of challenges people are facing. For module 2, we then try to measure the challenges that we identified and revisited in module 1. Module 1 won't be too technical because it's basically just putting in writing or codifying what things you already know implicitly. So 2 is really putting measurements on these development challenges. It's more technical. The third module is also a bit technical. We go through different paradigms from very traditional ideas or perspectives how to develop countries to more controversial ones like neo-Marxism, to more modern ones like donut economics. So you learn all of these in module 3. How do you develop faster, better, and more sustainable? The fourth module is really all about policies. This will be the longest module. If you've gone through the suggested page in module, I expect you to cover this maybe in a month's time. This is really long. This is the longest module because we'll cover 4 subtopics. One is agriculture and agrarian reform. The second is taxation or fiscal policies, where government gets the money and how it spends money. Population and demography. And this is unique to JG SOM students, which I'm teaching. How do you develop small and medium enterprises? In other classes, like my eco classes, this is different. I teach a different one. I teach social enterprises as well. And the last module, in terms of practice, putting it all together, this is also unique to management students, and not all SOCSI 13 professors teach this. I'll be going through, hopefully to inspire you, what is the role basically of private companies in helping solve development challenges. Because usually the old paradigm is, when you want to uplift poverty, anything to deal with the poor, the marginalized, that's government's job, or that's the job of NGOs. But the new paradigm really is, everyone has a role, and the private sector, because they have a lot of resources, they have a role. The corporations, the companies have a role. So we will discuss this next week, Patikim, an intro to this, but we'll cover this more fully in module 5. I don't see any questions at this point. All right. So very easy, very straightforward. You have four things that will make up your grade. No? One is online discussions, 20%. That's basically the bulk of this will be me reviewing what you post in the discussion boards. There will be, I think, a total of 8 or 9 or 10. I don't remember anymore. No? Discussion boards. No? So I hopefully you can answer that. No? If you answer meaningfully, maybe you'll get the full 20%. But obviously, I will see if you just posted something for the sake of posting. No? Kasi for compliance. So don't do that. I will notice that naman. Atinista rin ako, so alam ko yung medyo palusot na style. And then you have papers. No? This course really is geared towards me challenging your ideas, no? Challenging your thoughts, no? And putting them on paper. No? So it's really more about papers for this course. The first graded paper is individual. Application of modules 1 and 2. I think that's due sometime in October. In the syllabus, I put there the actual deadlines. I will not move that sooner. I may sometimes, depending on the circumstances, push that to a later date, but definitely not earlier. The second, now it's a group minor report. I call it minor because it's the weight is less than the final integrated output. So it's application of modules 3 and 4. Now, usually in the past, what I do is the groupings for the group minor report will be the same as the final integrated output. So the final integrated output will be 30% of your grade. So it's something that we tested last year, not with Opman. So for this year, for this particular class, and for management students, your final integrated output will be a common output that you will submit across this course, Oxide 13, NSTP KISS, and your Opman subject. I don't know if you've already met your Opman professor. I think it's Bong, no? So basically, it will be an integrated output because we want this course to take advantage of the different theories and tools that you're also learning from the other classes, specifically Opman and NSTP. Because if you're taking finance, if you're taking marketing, that will not be part of the final integrated output. This class is only Op and NSTP. So it's a bit difficult sometimes to merge different classes together. Let me see, someone's eye froze. Okay, is this better now? Can you guys hear me now? All right, that's good. So I see Marian nodding. Sige. So thank you. Let me know if I'm freezing again. Sometimes because it just rained this afternoon in Quezon. I live in Quezon City, so the weather can be crazy sometimes. So again, the final integrated output is a common output across 3 different subjects, including this one, the KISS, NSTP, and Opman. Okay. Next is your main textbook will be this one, Economic Development by Todaro and Smith, 2015. It's relatively dated, but it's still relevant, this version. So I plan to share this via eReserve, but I'm having issues with eReserve, so I posted the entire book. I think it's already available in Module 1, so you can download the book for your own reference. So it's not just that. I will also be posting some other readings, short articles or papers, and there are links on Canvas as well. The suggested readings are just suggested readings, so they're not required, obviously, by they're suggested. But if you have time, if you're really interested in the topics, feel free to dive deeper. And there are a lot of videos. I like because it's online. No? I like making use of videos because it's less boring than reading text on Canvas. All right. So as you know, Canvas is our learning management system. If you have any issues, concerns, there is a one-stop shop in the Yola schools called LS1. You can, I think, also request for low bandwidth versions. Of course, obviously, be mindful that cyberbullying will never be tolerated. You can, by the way, feel free if you want to comment on your classmates' posts. No? Feel free to disagree, but do so respectfully. When you disagree, doesn't mean you're fighting. It just means you disagree. Maybe you don't agree with the point. No? So you can feel free. This class is open. You can feel free to disagree, but do so respectfully. We agree to disagree sometimes. Be gender sensitive, obviously no gender discrimination. I think Loyola Schools has a gender policy. Again, I will not check attendance during synchronous sessions, but I encourage that you attend these. No? But if in case you want to refer to them and you're not able to join, I will record the sessions and I will post them at the end of each corresponding module. So for this session, I'll post them at the end of module 1 by tomorrow or Friday. Last policy that I wanted to highlight, the complete set of policies are in your in the syllabus, but the last one I wanted to highlight is you can submit late, no, for the outputs, no, but it will merit a 5-point deduction, 5 points out of 100. So of course, if your excuse is because of poor internet connectivity, that's fine. Hopefully you can let me know beforehand, or if not, the assignment that you submit should have proof that you completed it by the deadline. So usually I would require that you submit it via using MS Word format, because you can see when the date, when the document was last modified. So that will be approved. So in case lang, kasi some of us, no, you're on your last paragraph, then the lights go out. Wala na. You can't submit. So okay lang yan. In a virtual world where we have really poor telco companies, then that's expected. So, yun nga, kanina I froze. Diba? Okay. Then we need a beadle and an alternate class beadle. So I hope you can see the functions, the roles here. It's not a heavy lift. I'm now taking volunteers. Who wants to volunteer to be the beadle and then the class beadle? You can raise your hand, or you can type your name on the chat, or you can open your mic. You can unmute yourself. No volunteers? It's not difficult, no? Basically, you'll be my liaison in case your classmates are shy. You can raise class concerns since you get the pulse. You have the pulse of your class. And you don't need to remind me to record the sessions because it's automatic. So, any takers? Or should I randomly assign?
Sir, I can volunteer po.
Si Gab?
Yes, sir.
Gab Suangco. All right. Let me just note that down before I forget. And I'll send you a follow-up email. Suangco. Any volunteers to be the alternate beadle? Sophia. All right. I'll volunteer as alternate class beadle. Okay. Thank you very much. All right. I just typed that for reference. All right. Thank you very much. So it's going to be easy. So again, feel free, no, all of you, no, or each of you to approach me directly, no. Pero sometimes kasi, if you want anonymity, nahihiya kayo, or you have a complaint, for example, some of you would, in the past, for example, no, in last year, my management students, they complain kasi quarter format, I had tons of readings, may reklamo, no. So it was the BDEL, no, kasi takot yung iba, baka pag-initan. So it was the BDEL who approached me, sir. Some of my classmates, so ganon, so something like that. And sometimes I'll ask you to send the message out, just to be sure, no? Kasi most of the time naman, if I have announcements, I will post them in the announcement. Pero sometimes I also would like to, redundancy works, no? Course it through the BDEL. So yun lang. And feel free to be candid with me, no? Or through the BDEL. Walang problem. If you have concerns, etc. Thank you, Gab and Sophia. Okay. So what about consultation? So in terms of consultations, you can consult with me after the class. That's an option. No? So Wednesday, kasi nga, as I told you, for those who came in late, the synchronous sessions will be usually, no, on average, will be from 1.5 hours to 2 hours lang. I will not use up the whole 3 hours. So that means there's still some time if you want to do consultations. If you're feeling lazy after class because you're hungry, then Friday is another opportunity between 3 to 5. Or if not, maybe we can set up a different time. So important lang, no? There are 2 options, no, to avoid potential harassment. No? This is a school policy, no, to prevent harassment. No? Kasi naman in the past years, no, may mga issues na with some faculty. Most faculty are respectful, no? Pero there are some bad apples, of course, among the faculty. So ano na to? Preventive policy. So if you're planning to do consultations, no, kung mag-isa ka, the first option is a third party must be present. So there's 3 of us, a different connection. Either your friend, no, or kung available si Gab or si Sophia or whoever, no. That's the first option. Wag lang family member, no. Baka takutin ako ng nanay ninyo. So wag 'yon. So to keep it more professional and academic, yun ang sabi ng Loyola Schools. Or the other option is if you can't find someone or you're shy, you're embarrassed to take their time, no? Kasi they'll just be hanging out there anyway. We can do one by one pa rin, but we have to both agree in writing that we'll do it one-on-one and we will record the session and I will send the recording to you unaltered. So that's your second option for consultations. Pero if you have concerns naman, you don't have to do a consultation, no, all the time, no. If you have quick, short questions, you can reach me by email or Canvas as a messaging system, which I also get in my inbox, no, sa email. No. So either. Pero sometimes kasi you think it's a short question, but I would tell you naman, maybe this requires a complex discussion. I will tell you if it's better suited for a consultation. Pero in many cases naman, if it's a quick question, sige, email lang, no worries. Since I'm teaching part-time, don't expect me, especially kung morning because I'm working, I will try to reply immediately, but give me roughly 24 hours to reply to your query. All right, as I've mentioned, so for the synchronous sessions, each Wednesday, we'll have it except holidays. I've only identified one so far, yung December 8, Immaculate Conception. Other than that, class time is still 6 p.m. What we'll do is, because for online learning, the bulk of learning, it's expected that the bulk of learning will be you learning from the online course, from Canvas. That's why I packed the Canvas course with videos, with articles. I expect that you'll learn more from that. The synchronous sessions are meant to be either a recap of what you've already covered on Canvas or to introduce succeeding weeks material if you haven't covered them. Or in some instances, because sometimes I discover something in the news, no? Sometimes it's adding more information, no? That's more current or recent. So again, the synchronous sessions will just be between 1.5 to 2 hours, or even less sometimes. I think tonight it will be less, no? Maybe just over an hour. Tonight we'll just be introducing module 1. Very, very quick intro. Any questions so far? Yeah, none for me. All right. No need to chat if you don't have questions. Because each time the chat box lights up, I think I always assume there's a question. Pero thanks for letting me know. Sige. Anyway, you'll have the opportunity again to ask questions later at the end of class. All right. So for module 1, I hope some of you have started. No, I think some of you have. Most of you have at least started a few pages of module 1. So we'll cover these things. No? So we'll review development challenges. This will be more interactive for the first few minutes. No, then we'll go through aspirations as detailed on Canvas. What Filipinos actually aspire for. It's actually documented. Then we'll distinguish between economic growth versus economic development. And then we'll also close this session tonight with just defining what we mean by sustainable development. Because you can achieve, you can develop naman a country or a city or a town. Pero development can be unsustainable at the same time. So what we want to achieve is sustainable development. Next week, some of you have heard this, no? The United Nations Sustainable Development Goals or SDGs. We'll cover that. And then yung patikim, no? The intro to the role of the private sector when it comes to achieving the SDGs. And then we'll also cover some impacts of COVID-19 to make it more current. No? Kasi the Todaro obviously was written way before the pandemic. And then lastly, I wanted just to share with you a certain paradigm that I want you to have when you're thinking or working or engaging with the poor or the marginalized. All right, so let's spend the next 5 minutes. You guys are more tech savvy than me. No? I'm not super great at Jamboards, pero we'll be using Jamboard to simplify things. No? Tell me your ideas lang. I will paste this on the, wait lang. I will paste this on the chat box. The Jamboard, let me get it first. Wait lang. All right. I will paste it on the chat box. Okay. So just answer it using the sticky notes. Where's the chat? Okay, there you go. I will paste this. All right, that's the link to the Jamboard. I hope that works. Yes, it works. So just answer those two things, based on what you know, and based on what you've read. What are some of? There are 2 Jamboards, The first page is what are some of the development challenges in the world. The second is what are some of the development challenges in the Philippines, based on what you know, or knee-jerk reaction. Sige, I'll give you 5 minutes to do this. We'll reconvene at 6:45. Sige. Then maybe later on, don't worry if I'm modifying your slides. I will sort of group them together later. Sige, I'll give you 5 minutes. Get a sticky note. It's to the left side. It's the fourth item on the left side. I'm sure you guys are familiar with Jamboard. So you've used this. Sige. All right. So many of you started with the Philippines. Okay, sige. So, wait. I will now try to group the sticky notes together. All right, poverty, hunger, that's sort of similar. War, education, poor healthcare, conflict between countries, correct. Climate change, sustainable energy, curable disease, yes. I'll lump them here. Food security, I can lump them here. Poor project planning, yes. Lack of jobs, corruption, poor management by the leaders, violation of human rights, income inequality, women empowerment, gender inequality, yes. Waste management, that can be part of urban planning and project planning, as well as environmental issues. I lump this with climate change, sustainable energy here as well. Interesting that we didn't really find a lot of, employment stuff here. So very good, no? In the world. So healthcare, eliminating curable diseases, poor planning, inequalities. Inequality is usually lumped together with poverty, and we'll discuss that more in module 2. The relationship, gender imbalance, lack of jobs, speed of misinformation through the media. Okay, interesting. Yeah, that's a sticky note by itself. Lack of motivation. Can someone, if you're okay, if you can see the screen, no, guys? You can see the Jamboard on the screen that I shared.
Yes, sir.
All right. Can someone, whoever wrote this lack of motivation, what does that mean? What did you mean by this? If you don't mind. Who wrote the lack of motivation? Just intrigued. Maybe by world leaders, no? That's what you meant. Maybe. Sige lang. All right. No worries if you don't want to provide more information. Sige lang. Okay, what about the Philippines? So we'll likely see similar stuff. And don't worry, I'll share together with the recording and the deck. I'll share this. By the way, I'll also share the deck on Canvas. I'll also share the Jamboard link so you can see this. Lack of quality education, unemployment. Yes, we'll combine it here. Misallocated funds, poverty, of course, it's always there. Inequality. I put the corruption here. Struggles with justice system, corruption. I'll put all the governance pieces here. Authoritarian regimes, sort of close there. Quality healthcare and education. Good governance is here. That's a bucket. These are all good governance stuff. Housing and settlement here. Brain drain, no? The OFWs, yes, definitely. Overpopulation, quality education and healthcare. Agriculture sector definitely will have a full submodule there. Church versus state. Yes, RH, definitely. RH will be one of the things we'll discuss. Gender as well. So thanks for that. Thanks for your participation. So all of them are correct. Definitely. Even lack of motivation. Some actually, if you think about it, when you're talking about some world leaders, it's not a lack of motivation, but a motivation for something else sometimes. Motivation for power, not necessarily to do good. No? So iba-iba. Sometimes it's a different kind or inappropriate motivation or perverse motivations. Sige. So thank you for that. I'll share the Jamboard if you want to refer to that. Very good. No? I'll share the PowerPoint again. Okay. Again, thank you for that. So we'll introduce the course. No? So we introduced the course with development challenges. I asked you to read a few pages of Todaro, which talked about a global perspective. All right, so this course really, where we're talking about development challenges and how to address them, help solve them. This is sort of a light version of development economics. Economics courses are supposed to cover development economics. This one is Dev Econ Light. So the traditional definition of development economics is a study of how economies are transformed to stagnation, meaning economic stagnation, to growth, and from low income to high income status, and overcome problems of absolute poverty. But that is actually the traditional definition because it's only focused on economic matters. But if you look back at your Jamboard, it's not only the economy. There's problems with housing, there's problems with good governance. So when you talk about development, the new paradigm now is when you talk about development, it's multidimensional. And definitely we'll discuss that more in module 2. No? And when you talk about the SDGs, no? Development means more than having money. It means access to healthcare, access to education, etc. So this course really is more about not just income, earning income, no, but development in a broad sense. No? In a broad sense, addressing different kinds of challenges, not just monetary challenges. And Canvas, no, I provided, I think, 2 videos here. Actually, the government, interestingly, no, they started this process even in the previous administration. They called it Ambition 2040 or Vision 2040. No? So they actually went around the country. They interviewed people. They had group discussions, FGDs with people, no, basically telling them, what's your aspiration? When you think, what's the vision for you and what do you consider as your aspiration or what you want to achieve, to aspire for your family and for you? So this was done by the National Economic and Development Authority, or NEDA, which is the central planning agency of the Philippines. So what they came out with, no, is really interesting. No? So 3 things: matatag, resilient, maginhawa, comfortable, panatag na buhay. So basically, comfortable lifestyle, secure in the knowledge that it's enough for the daily needs. Talking about sustainable development later, no? It's enough for the needs now, as well as the future and unexpected expenses, no? Like external things like pandemic, disasters, earthquakes, bagyo, etc. And you can plan and prepare for now and your children's future. They have a place of their own, they have the freedom to go where you desire, protected by a clean, efficient, and fair government. Utopia. But yeah, this is basically documented as the Filipinos, on average, the Filipinos aspiration. We just wanted to put that out there. Kasi from the challenges, this is what the country as a whole want to achieve, want to aspire for. So please make sure to watch the short video there. So just if you've gone through the quick video also, what is the difference between, based on what you've heard, or if you haven't gone through the video yet on Canvas, what do you think is the difference between economic development and economic growth? Anyone?
Sir, I think
Go ahead, Marian.
I think
And
the
Marco next.
okay.
Okay, Marco, go ahead.
I think the difference between economic development and economic growth is that economic growth measures like national outputs, so that can be measured in monetary terms, but it doesn't. But unlike economic development, it doesn't measure economic welfare, so that is like non-monetary indicators like education, health, and social factors.
Thanks for that. No, Marco, you were also raising your hand.
Same thing, and parang economic growth and economic development may not always be correlated. Like for example, we may have a high economic growth in terms of GDP or GNI, but then when you look at other stuff such as like the Gini index or income inequality, we can actually see that some people may actually be suffering, or like we may be having high production, but if wealth is only concentrated into a certain group of people, we might not actually have development in a sense na everybody has like an improved quality of living.
Oh, perfect, both of you. No? So to summarize, yes, no, both of you are absolutely correct. No? Traditionally, kasi yun nga, the old paradigm was no, the be all and end all for a country is keep on growing. If you're not familiar yet with the terms GDP, GNP, or gross domestic product, gross national product, that's basically just, in simple terms, that's the country's income. Or viewed differently, it's the country's economic output. Kasi they're supposed to balance. No? They're supposed to be one and the same. Income of the country and the production of the country. So the way to see it, para mas madali, if you're not familiar with economic terms, is think of the economy as pizza pie or a buko pie or whatever pie you want. The bigger, the better, di ba? In theory, di ba? Kasi the larger the pie, the more mouths you can feed, di ba? That's in theory. Or you can also think of as a microcosm, no? Think of it as the income of a household. Para lang microcosm. So na, going back to the point of Marco, no, and also Marian, it's not enough that you grow the pie. Baka mamaya unequal yung distribution, di ba? You might be growing the pie, but the poor are still getting the same or crumbs pa din, no? So it doesn't mean it translates to their betterment. So that's one, inequality, no? So Marco, you're already advanced, no? Module 2 na yung mga Gini coefficient. But that's good that you're already familiar with these terms. No? So economic development is more broad, as I mentioned earlier. It covers the overall quality of life and standards. No? But we're not undermining economic growth. That is important. You need more money. The more money a country has, the better. So most economists say that economic growth or growing the income is a necessary, it's important, it's a necessary but insufficient condition. Hindi siya sufficient. Kumbaga kulang siya. But it has to be there. That's an important ingredient. But it's only a single element of economic development. As Marian mentioned, what about health? What about education, housing, etc., etc. Before we call it a night or a day, no, last thing, no, as a setup for next week and for Canvas. Yes, Amaya, go ahead.
Sir, I have a question lang.
Sure.
How is economic growth and inflation related to one another?
Economic growth and
Inflation.
economic growth and inflation, interesting. Actually, when the economy is really, inflation kasi is basically, the inflation rate is the rate at which prices increase. That's the basic definition. Sa economics kasi, it's always two sides. So there's the supply side, there's the demand side. If there is a lot of economic growth, if it's really rapid economic growth, the more the country is earning a lot, more people have income, so they can spend more. What happens is more people demanding certain products will increase the price kasi there's that law of supply and demand. More demand will have the tendency to pull that up. So in that sense, inflation is not necessarily bad kasi it's a reflection of more people having the means to spend money to buy. Okay yun. Wag lang masyado mataas. But it's not good if the inflation is caused by supply side issues, meaning walang supply. Kulang, for example, pork, no? Kulang yung pork production natin, kulang inputs. Therefore, ask your parents where the pork prices are at the sky high right now. So masama yun. And inflation sometimes, if the prices are too high, it can also impede. It can prevent the country from achieving higher economic growth kasi people are spending less. And you need nga for the economy to keep growing, you need people to be spending more. So marami siyang interrelationships, no, from a macro perspective. So I hope that sort of answers your question.
Thank you, sir.
We'll go to not necessarily inflation, but related topics in Module 4. Sige. So anyone, what is sustainable development for you or based on what you've read? or viewed on Canvas? Anyone? Okay.
Hi, sir.
Go ahead. Well, let's call someone else muna, Marian. Then I'll call on you. No? So I saw. Wait, who did I see? Someone. Yes, Jose.
Sir, so for me, yung keyword lang talaga is sustainable. So similar to economic development, yung scope niya is beyond monetary. So yan na yung social, government, sa mga environment, against poverty. So yung sustainable dyan is you put parang a cap or a sort of boundary to make sure that in your pursuit of progress, you're not making actual long-term damage. Nang for example nga na sometimes you're too focused on the economic side where, for example, inequality or environmental factors will suffer. So yung sustainability is trying to parang, you're looking at it holistically or as a whole when you're trying to develop something.
Thanks for that. Sige, Marian.
Oh, similar to what Jose said. So like sustainable development focuses on like the practice that help countries grow in a way that they can adapt to like challenges now. And then it's like the idea that society must live to meet their needs for like a long period of time, like ideally forever, but yeah, without compromising the needs of the future generations.
Okay, perfect. So I'll piggyback on your point there. No? So and you know Jose's point as well, no? Kasi he stay tuned for module 3 kasi we'll also be talking about a paradigm called donut economics where yung sinasabi mong you're sort of hitting an ecological ceiling, no, that you're not supposed to. And Marian was saying yun nga, it's a you want that, you know, it's development that meets the present without compromising the future, no, needs. So yun nga, classic example here usually is yung mga cutting of trees, unregulated mining kasi parang yun, it's instant income pero at the expense of the future. So usually marami dito it's usually related to the environmental stuff, environmental concerns. The video for this on Canvas is the one by Dr. Jeffrey Sachs, The Age of Sustainability. Some SOC teachers actually use his book, The Age of Sustainability, as the main textbook. Dito, we're just reviewing or studying bits and pieces of that. But if you're interested, of course, by all means, you can download the book or buy the book or borrow the book. I think it's in the library as well. All right. So that's that. That's it for tonight. Actually, it's a short session lang, no? I want you to delve more into Canvas. Try to cover it as much as you can. I'll try to post module 2 in next week, no? By next week, no? Kung baka kasi yung iba sa inyo excited, you want to finish module 1, module 2. I'll try to post it as soon as possible. I already have the material naman kasi I'm basically using for the most part my material last year, no? Pero I usually want to update it with new material. Kung tamad lang ako, then I just use that. Pero I want usually to update it para mas fresh yung material. So any questions? Any questions? We'll cover the rest of module 1 as a recap next week. Any questions? From the pertaining to the syllabus or module 1, feel free. Or you can reach me by email or Canvas, no problem. Okay, are you guys good? All right, so it's dinner time. Sige. Thank you very much. So I'll post this again on Canvas. Maraming salamat. Have a good evening, guys.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, sir. Happy Wednesday
you.
night.